Dodge, it's one of those names that just hits different. You immediately think of pure, raw power, V8s roaring, some of the most legendary cars in American history, right? But the story behind Dodge is so much more than just muscle. It's this incredible 120-year saga of genius, tragedy, and just relentless reinvention. So let's dive in.
And really, this is the question at the heart of it all. You got a brand that has stared into the abyss, on the brink of total collapse multiple times. And yet every single time it comes roaring back, somehow even stronger than before. So how? How did they pull that off? Well, the answer is in this crazy history of being both incredibly dependable and unbelievably daring.
And it all kicks off with two brothers from Detroit. Now, John and Horace Dodge, they weren't just guys who liked cars. These two were absolute master machinists. We're talking obsessed with quality, with precision. They built this rock-solid reputation for making some of the best car parts on the entire planet.
What's so wild is what they did first. See, before they ever put their own name on a car, they were the secret weapon behind other huge brands. They actually supplied the entire chassis for the very first Ford Model A. Think about that. They were essentially building most of the car for Henry Ford himself.
Yeah, that partnership with Ford, it worked out pretty well for them. For their 10% stake in his company, Henry Ford ended up buying out the Dodge brothers for $25 million back in 1916. Today, that's a lot of money. But back then, it was an absolutely astronomical sum. It gave them all the cash they could possibly need to go and build their own empire.
And this quote right here from John Dodge, it just perfectly sums up their whole mindset. He wasn't happy just being a supplier. He looked at the basic Model T and saw an opportunity for something better. A car that was tougher, more powerful, a real automobile. So when they finally launched their own car, the Model 30, it was an absolute smash hit right out of the gate. It had a 35 horsepower engine, which was a massive jump from the Model T's 20. And get this, it had an all-steel body, an industry first. It was just tougher than pretty much anything else out there. By 1916, Dodge was already the #2 best-selling car brand in America.
But just as the Dodge brothers reached the absolute pinnacle of their success, disaster struck. The whole story was about to take this sudden, tragic turn.
In a single year, the company lost both of its visionary founders. John died in January, and then his brother Horace, who was reportedly just heartbroken, passed away that same December. Just like that, the two brilliant minds that built the entire company from scratch were gone. It left this massive, massive void.
And you can see the impact right here. It was immediate and it was brutal. Without the brothers' leadership and their engineering genius, the company just started to fall apart. Look at this chart. From being #2 in the entire country, Dodge just plummeted down to 13th place in a little over a decade, a total freefall.
So, the brothers' widows sell the company for a then record-breaking amount of money, but even the new owners couldn't stop the bleeding. And that's when another automotive giant, Walter P. Chrysler, saw his chance. He knew how valuable Dodge's huge factories and their dealer network were, and he snapped him up to help build his own growing empire.
All right, let's fast forward a bit. For decades, Dodge was a solid, dependable brand under Chrysler. But when we get to the 1970s, the whole company is once again staring down disaster thanks to an oil crisis and the very real threat of bankruptcy. They needed a miracle. They needed another game-changing idea.
And I'm not kidding, the situation was bad. Chrysler's lineup was full of these big, gas-guzzling cars right when gas prices were going through the roof. They were completely on the ropes. The government had to step in with loan guarantees, and their new chairman, the legendary Lee Iacocca, knew it was simple: innovate or die.
Their first move was actually a masterclass in efficiency. It was called the K-Car. Super simple, super reliable, front-wheel drive platform that they could use to build a whole bunch of different cars, like the Dodge Aries. It saved them a ton of money and gave them a stable foundation. But the real magic was what they built on that platform next.
This right here, this was the comeback. Using a stretched-out K-Car platform, Dodge invented the Caravan. And it was this vehicle that nobody even knew they wanted until they saw it. It drove like a car but had all the space of a van. The minivan didn't just save Dodge and Chrysler. It created an entire new kind of vehicle and became the family car for a whole generation.
Okay, so having clawed their way back from the brink, Dodge rolls into the 1990s with a totally new mission. They needed to ditch that practical family car image and find their soul again. It was, you could say, time to get aggressive. This was the beginning of the new Dodge era. The marketing was in your face, the attitude was cocky, and the cars and trucks were designed to turn heads and make a statement. They weren't just building transportation anymore, they were building an identity built on power and excitement.
And they came out swinging with this incredible 1-2 punch. On one side, you had the Viper, just an absolutely brutal, unapologetic monster with a massive V10 engine. And on the other side, the 1994 Ram pickup, which completely shattered the mold for what a truck should look like with its aggressive, big rig style. Both were enormous risks, and both paid off big time.
That whole reinvention really set the stage for what was coming in the 21st century, when Dodge decided, you know what, we're gonna go all in on what we do best, pure, unfiltered American muscle.
And to pull it off, they brought back all the legendary ingredients from the glory days. The Hemi V8, it came roaring back. They built a brand new rear-wheel drive platform that was perfect for performance. And of course, they resurrected the two most legendary names in their entire history, Charger and Challenger.
And man, they did something that just seemed completely insane at the time. They took a supercharged Hemi, dropped it in the Charger and Challenger, called it the Hellcat, and gave it 707 horsepower from the factory. That number wasn't just big, it was a gauntlet thrown down. It completely reset the battlefield for the modern horsepower wars.
But of course, they weren't done. Just when you thought there was no way they could top it, they unleashed the SRT Demon. This thing was a limited production, purpose-built drag racing machine that cranked out an unbelievable 840 horsepower straight off the showroom floor. It was the ultimate statement of Dodge's whole philosophy, performance at any cost. And that brings us to today. The brand that was built on the thunder of V8 engines is now pivoting to an electric future. They're even bringing back their cool, futuristic Frotzog logo from the 60s to lead the charge. So after more than a century of survival, of radical change, the question isn't really if Dodge can reinvent itself one more time. The real question is, what legendary form is that reinvention gonna take?